In this video, I'm going to show you how to cheese the entire Shura Gauntlet in just over 4 minutes of battle time. This will allow you to unlock the Shura outfit that I'm wearing in this video. The bosses in this gauntlet will include Emma, Isshin, Demon of Hatred, and of course the insanely hard Inner Father. Do you think it's too hard to get a no-hit run on Inner Father? Well, with the detailed guide I'm going to give you, I believe you can do it. So stick till the end for that. Starting with gentle Emma, use a Yashiriku or Akko Sugar for a damage boost. Then evade behind her on the left side just as she attacks and counter with the double Ichimonji. Then as she attacks, evade behind her again and repeat. If the red sign appears, just Mikiri counter it. Straight after, use a double Ichimonji and then evade behind her again and repeat this loop. Normally she'll just try to hit you and you can get behind her and repeat, but occasionally she'll step back like she did a second ago, so you have to wait for her to come forward, dodge behind her and then repeat. Following this easy pattern, she won't do any other moves and dies in no time. If you can avoid getting hit often, I'd recommend using a Yashiriku Sugar for a massive damage boost, but it does half your health, so only do this once you have the technique down. Do you think it's possible to do a similar trick on Isshin Ashina next? We'll find out in a sec. Now before the loading screen is about to end, press the button to use a Yashiriku Sugar to get a slight time advantage, then parry or block his first hit and run away. Now it is optional, but if you get a chance, use a Divine Confetti as well for a stack damage boost. So the trick here is to keep running away until he's walking in a neutral state. When he is, you want to run up to him and attack him in the hope that he evades it. If he evades it, he'll counter with a one-hit move. You need to evade this by dodging behind him to the left side and then follow up by hitting him 2 times. After the second hit, if he moves to the right like this, just walk up to him and try to hit him once. You'll notice that he evades it again in the same way. All you need to do now is evade behind him again and repeat this trick whilst he's stuck in this loop. If however after the first 2 hits he doesn't move to the right, it means he's broke out of the loop, so at this point you need to run away and wait for him to start walking in a neutral state again. If you see the red sign appear, it's exactly the same, but you just have to evade behind him 2 times instead. Now when he's walking in a neutral state again and you go back in for the attack, if he blocks or does anything but dodge your attack, you need to immediately run away and wait for him to go in a neutral state again. But the moment he evades your attack, you're in. You can dodge behind to the left side and start the loop again until he's dead. So yes, we can do a similar trick on him like we did on Emma, but the problem is this only works in the first phase and he gets a little fire crazy in phase 2. So how do we solve this problem? Well, immediately after the death blow, you need to use a Yashiriku Sugar as quick as possible. Then if he's close enough, use a double Ichimonji. If he's a bit further away, jump towards him and use a double Ichimonji in mid-air. Straight after that, just use Firecrackers followed by another double Ichimonji and keep repeating this loop. Try to force him towards any corner of the stage and keep slightly adjusting your position so that he stays in the corner. And make sure you don't use the delayed version of these Firecrackers, otherwise he'll get out of this loop. Doing this, you won't see him burn the stage at all with his crazy fiery moves he has. In fact, the old man doesn't even get a chance to attack in phase 2. This Isshin and Emma are the 2 final bosses in the Shura ending story of the game, and this is how easily they can be destroyed in a total of just 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Now before moving on to the next battle, rest to recover your lost items and then equip the Suzaku Umbrella before facing the Demon of Hatred. He's actually not that hard. The real problem is how to deal with Inner Father who comes after. But don't worry, I've got a trick for him too. There are 2 parts to cheesing the Demon of Hatred. The first part is to lure him to the cliff on the left side, so as soon as the battle begins, sprint to this cliff and wait for him to come to you. Once he's here, you can use the Suzaku Umbrella to block or deflect his flame attacks until he's close enough to this edge, or if you manage to just evade him, that's fine too. Just run around the corner while staying near the wall. He'll end up getting stuck in that corner, which gives you plenty of time to climb this tower. Now the second part of this cheese is jumping off this tower and hopping onto the roof, but you'll have all day to do it because he's going to be stuck in that corner still. Now the jump is actually quite tricky. When you think you should press jump, you're wrong. You actually need to press jump about a half a second later than you actually think. Then just keep hold of square or your ledge hang button to grab the ledge easily instead of pressing it at the right time. You'll notice a success when it looks like Sekiro stepped on the air and jumped. Once you've made the jump and you go down, he would have already fallen off the cliff. Hop back around to get to the idol and rest and recover your emblems. Now before you face Inner Father, equip the standard Mortal Draw. As soon as the battle begins, have your items set up so that you can use the Ceremonial Tanto, Yashiriku Sugar and a Divine Confetti one after another. But the Ceremonial Tanto is optional, so you don't have to use it. And now the hardest part. If you've seen my Owl Father cheese guide, it's very similar and the basics are the same. Initially this won't look like an easy method, but believe me, it is. There are 2 main parts to this strategy. The easy one is, whenever you see the red sign appear in phase 1, jump backwards and use both hits of the Mortal Draw. However in phase 2, only do the first hit of the Mortal Draw because he will vanish and counter upon the second hit. The second part of this strategy is the most important part and you need to be doing this through the entirety of the fight. All you need to do is hit Owl once or twice, then he will counter with a one-hit move. You need to evade this by dodging behind him to the left side and then attacking him 2 times. He'll then usually try to attack you again and you just need to dodge behind him, hit him twice and repeat. The secret to making this successful is this: never ever evade backwards. No matter what move he does, you want to evade behind him to the left. If he ends up jumping backwards whilst you evaded left, you can convert the left dodge into a sprint and run towards him and hit him. He'll likely counter and you can just dodge behind him again and repeat this loop. It also allows you to bypass his firecrackers. It's very important to get as much behind him as you can, because if you're in his vision of sight, he can can continue attacking and do some combos on you, but he won't if he can't see you. Using these two core mechanics is actually enough to get you the win in just over 4 minutes, but if you want to avoid the Fire Owl and the Vanishing combos in case he does them, keep watching. In all honesty, there's no perfect way to cheese Inner Father because of his Vanishing, but this is the closest to cheese that you will get. And no matter what, considering he is one of the hardest bosses in the game, you'll still need a bit of practice to react to his moveset. After this, I'll break up this strategy into 7 small sections so it's easier to grasp. The first 2 sections are more detailed than what I've already shown on Mortal Draw and dodging behind him. The rest is to show you how to easily avoid all his other moves like the Fire Owl and Vanishing combos. The first section is Mortal Draw. As I said in the beginning, whenever you see the red sign appear, jump backwards and use both hits of the Mortal Draw starting from mid-air. Sometimes you can tell in advance that the red sign is coming by his quick movement from side to side. Sometimes he jumps backwards and then moves side to side, but it's still important to wait for the red sign to appear and then react. If you get a good run, you can take his whole first life with just this, but in phase 2, only do 1 Mortal Draw hit and then dodge behind him because he almost always vanishes and counters the second Mortal Draw hit. The most important part, dodging behind the left side. To start this loop, all you need to do is walk up to Owl and attack him once. He'll most likely counter with a one-hit move. You just need to evade this by dodging behind him to the left side so that you're out of his sight, and then hit him 2 times and repeat this over and over again. If he jumps backwards, immediately sprint towards him and hit him once and then wait to dodge. But no matter how you get there, all you need to do is evade any of his sword attacks to the left side and then you can start the loop from there. Sometimes when he jumps backwards, he also drops Firecrackers. The solution is the same. You still want to be ready to evade left behind him, and then as soon as you realise he's actually dropped Firecrackers and jumped backwards, you can convert your left dodge into a sprint towards him, and then hit him once to start the loop again. Next up is his 2-hit air spinning combo. You can avoid this the same way that I avoided the Firecrackers. Whilst you're in the attacking loop, be ready to dodge behind him to the left side. You'll end up evading the first part of his air combo easily, and then the second part is simple, parry or block. Straight after, just hit him once and dodge behind him and you're back in the loop again. If you've made it this far into Sekiro, you have no excuses. This is his 2-hit Vanishing combo and you just have to parry this. It's a simple double tap parry about a second after he vanishes. Then attack once and dodge behind him to start the loop again. Or keep parrying if he keeps vanishing. For his Vanishing 5-hit combos, you'll notice he teleports a bit further away. That's how you know he's going to do this. All you have to do is block the first move and then run away. If you're good at parrying, you can parry instead and then run away. Once he's finished, run up to him and hit him once to start the loop again. To avoid the Fire Owl is quite easy, just walk up to him and hit him twice and then dodge left to start the loop again. And because you're so close to the Fire Owl, it won't even hit you. Alternatively, you can move back and then see which way the owl's coming towards you to either jump or move sideways to avoid it. Then you can follow up for a Mikiri counter for massive posture damage. Keep an eye out for if the owl is vertical or horizontal, so that you know whether you have to dodge sideways or jump. Then just hit him once or twice so you can start the loop again. Knowing how to avoid all these extra moves will help you get that perfect run, and it'll probably look something like this.